When I tell you, two big black grown men hopped out of that sedan at the same time, and they both looked at me like they was finna grab me. Girl, when I tell you I got up out of there, I got up out of there. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I'm at work. Yes, I ordered food. Yeah, he was just loud for no reason. But as y'all can see by the title, I'm here with a story time to tell y'all about the time I almost got kidnapped. Well, at least I think I almost got kidnapped. Okay, so, how can I put this? Yeah, I was scared for my life. Like, so I work from 4 p.m. till 9 p.m. Now, on the days that I don't feel like calling the Lyft, I'll walk to the bus stop. And from my client, he lives down, like, in a downtown area. I'm not gonna give out so many details because, you know, people be crazy. But he lives in, like, a downtown area. So the area that he lives in is pretty busy, you know what I mean? There's always traffic, there's always people, you know, cameras and stuff. So it's pretty much like a main road, is what I'm trying to say. It's a main street. To get from his house to downtown, it's literally like a straight shot. As soon as I leave out of the front of the building, I just walk straight and boom, downtown is like right there. It take me about, at my walking rate, depending on what time I clock out and stuff, sometimes it'll take me about 10 minutes to get downtown from his house. Other nights, maybe like between, I don't know. If I'm not in a rush, it'll take me about 10 minutes. If I'm rushing, it'll take me like a good 5 minutes so I don't miss my bus or whatever. But yeah, so how downtown is set up, there's this building that's called the Gold Building. And I'm pretty sure you can picture why it's called the Gold Building. It's like, it's literally a big building and it's all gold. And when you walk by, like, you can see your reflection in it. It's pretty. So I'm always on the right side of the street. Like, there's left side, right side. I'm always on this side. The Gold Building is on the left side. Across the street from the Gold Building is like another big building. Like, they're all big, huge buildings. It's literally downtown. Across the street from the Gold Building is like another big building. And then there's like bus stops, and then there's a fast track stop. So say this is the Gold Building, this is across the street, this is the bus stop. Say this is another street and this is another street. Oh my God, I'm explaining this so wrong. Okay, Gold Building bus stops. Say you walk down the street past the bus stops and you get to the corner of the street. Once you get to that corner of the street, I forgot what that street is called. I forgot what the street's called. It's not gonna matter. You can still see the Gold Building from the corner of that street, from the end of the street. The bus stop that I have to walk to is around the corner from the Gold Building. So if this is the Gold Building, these are the regular bus stops. I'm traveling to... There's like, the way that the bus stops are set up, some of them, they have like little clear, what do you call it? Clear shields. You know, like when it's raining and you at the bus stop, how they have the benches and then they have the clear thing so you can see the bus and you can sit in. So they have that. And I noticed that there's like this man, and normally there's like there's a piece of paper on like the window, the bus schedule. You could see like the bus number and what time it's supposed to be coming and stuff like that. He's not looking at that. He's just standing there like, I don't know what he was doing. It was him and then there was one other guy. It appeared that he was there with the other guy. I don't know if he was probably just talking to him or whatever. Anyway, I'm walking or whatever. he's staring at me. I'm already noticing. Like, I'm somebody that I pay attention to my surroundings. The stuff that you would think I'm not paying attention to, 9 times out of 10, I already peeped it. You know what I mean? So I'm walking and I see him staring at me. And every time, like, as I'm walking by, I can literally see him. Like, his body is turning, his head is turning, like he's watching me walk by. So I already have it in my head, like, okay, I'm not going to wait at this bus stop. Obviously, there's a weirdo. I'm just going to walk to the next one. It's only like 2 feet away. Like, it's like right there. So, y'all, I start to cross the street. I step off the curb and I start to cross the street. I don't remember what I had on, but I have this big blue, it's like a duffel bag, but it's not a duffel bag, but it's like a duffel bag. It could be a duffel bag. And I carry all my stuff in there. And I got this this baton. It's a taser, but it's literally a baton. Like, it got it's a taser. It's a baton taser. It's like this big, and I could, you know, I have that in my bag, and I got my keychain with me, and I got mace on it. So right, I'm walking across the street. I kid you not. As soon as I get halfway across the street, I'm the type of person, like, if I'm walking and I know somebody's behind me, I'm going to, like, you know, look off to the side and pretend like I'm looking at other stuff whole time. I'm, you know, I can see out of my peripheral. So I look, you know, just to see if there's a car coming, another car coming while I'm already in the middle of the street. And I see him out the corner of my eye, like, behind me, crossing the street with me. When I tell y'all, this man got his hands in his pocket and he's gaining on me, I kid you not. I'm still walking. I didn't turn around to look at him yet. I can see him. He probably didn't know that I could see him, but I can see him. I'm still walking. I'm like probably like halfway to the bus stop. I get to the other corner to where I have to cross over to get to the bus stop. Say I'm on this street. This is the street. The bus stop is across the street. I'm like right there getting ready to cross. I finally turn around because as I'm walking to the bus stop, there's nobody there. Now, normally it's weird because normally when I have to go to the bus stop, there's always people there. Like, there's always somebody there. There's always one person. When there was nobody. Like, when I tell you there was nobody, it was dead. It was ghost time. So at this point, I have my mace in my hand. Like, it's in my hand. I always keep my finger on it while I'm walking, you know, just in case people be too close. There's a lot of weirdos downtown, and it's like, it's no. So I turn around and I look at him. You know, I'm making it obvious that, you know, I know that you're there. I'm making it obvious that I see you. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're behind me. But he's not like, if it makes sense, he's not like so close to where, excuse me, to where he could just, like, you know, run up and grab me or something like that. He's far enough to the point where, like, if he started running or something or getting close, I would know that he was close enough to where, like, I'm uncomfortable now. I gotta mace you because why are you following me? So, bruh, I start not speed walking, but I picked up my pace a little bit. I'm crossing the street at this point. He's still following behind me. I told y'all I'd do the little side look real quick. I could see him out the corner of my eye. He's still following me. Still got his hands in his pocket. Mind y'all, it's dark over there. You know what I mean? Behind downtown be real dark sometimes. So again, how I was explaining to y'all, some of the bus stops, like, they have the sitting area where it's a clear shield, like, around you. So I walked past, like, probably 3 seating areas to walk to that clear part. Now, I know what time my bus come every night. I'm not no dummy. I'm not stupid. I know what time it's coming. I know when it's supposed to pull off. Okay? So you remember how I was telling y'all, like, if you look on the bus, on the bus wall, there's a paper, and it shows you what bus number and what time that which bus and what time that specific bus is supposed to be coming, depending on what you're taking. So I walked all the way over there. I did it on purpose. I did it just to see if he was gonna follow me all the way to that bus stop or if he was just gonna go over there and wait and just, like, you know, I'm not dumb. I knew he was following me. So I walk all the way over there to that one, and I pretend like I'm looking at the paper, yada, 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 yada. Now, with this particular bus stop thing, normally there will be, like, one of them, and it's all, like, the whole thing is open. You can just enter it. With that one, it's like it's 2 entryways. So it's like it's 2 benches. It's all surrounded by this clear thing. You can enter through here. There's a glass part in the middle with the bus route on it, the bus paper, and then there's an entryway here. I walked past the first one and came into the second one to look at the paper. He's still coming up the street a little ways behind me. So the whole time I'm looking at the paper, I can still see him out the corner of my eye. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, well, when he get to that first entry one and when I see him about to enter it, I'm going to leave out the other one. No, that's not what happened. So I see him like he's like right there at the entrance. As soon as he gets to the entrance, he's like getting closer to the wall. So I'm thinking he's finna turn in. My dumb self go out the other one, and he's still like he's standing there, but he's standing there, but like slowing down, like to, you know, when somebody trying to approach you to talk to you, and you know that they finna stop to try to talk to you type. So I got my earpods in my ears. I always keep my earpods in my ears because I don't like to talk to people, especially late at night when I'm trying to just go home. Like, leave me alone. This man still has his hands in his pocket, and he tried to play it off like he didn't know what time the bus was coming, like he was just gonna ask me a question. He gonna say, oh, dang, what time is the bus coming, or do you know what time the bus is coming? I said, it's coming at 9:26. I think he said, what did he say? He said something else. I couldn't really, like, he didn't have an accent. It's like it was something wrong with his speech. Like he had a hard time, like, trying to get his words out, if that makes sense. But some of it, like, I understood that he was asking me what time the bus was coming or whatever. So I said 9:26. Mind you, I had my AirPods, and so when he first started talking to me, I was like, huh? Like, huh? What'd you say? And after I told him 9:26, I think he said something else. But I had already, like, I was in the middle of putting my AirPod back in my ear. So I started walking off as if I couldn't hear him. Mind you, there's nothing playing in my AirPods. I just told y'all this man was following me. I'm not going to be walking up the street listening to music and it's a weirdo behind me. No. Nothing's playing in my AirPods. I start to walk away, right? He's still standing there. But as I'm walking off, I hear him. He's like, hey. And I'm still walking, but mind you, I told you I do that little thing where I look to the side and I can see out my peripheral. He's still standing there. So I walk from that bus stop all the way to the end of the street until I get to the corner. From that corner, I can see the other bus stop as well as when the other buses are finna pull up, as well as the Gold Building, if that makes sense. Because that one street where I can see everything connects this bus stop, the bus stops that are right there, and the other bus stops, if that makes sense. I'm trying to make it make sense. Try to picture it. So, yeah, so I walk to that corner. But as I'm walking, I get on the phone with my mom. I call her because I don't know what it is, but when I get like when I get a weird feeling in my chest, or I just feel like I have to do something, I do it. Something said, girl, call your mom. Just tell her about the man. I don't know. Like, obviously he was following me, but he played it off weird. Like, why follow me, ask me some weird question, say A that many times, and then not follow me to the corner? I'm like, maybe he trying to see what I'm doing or whatever. I don't know what this man's objective was, but he failed. It was an epic fail. I call my mom. I'm telling her, I'm like, yeah, there was this man. Mind you, this man was so, I didn't even describe to y'all what he looked like. He's so skinny. He looked like he could have been like Puerto Rican. I'm pretty sure he was Puerto Rican. He was so skinny and little. When I tell y'all this man was way smaller than me, I could have handled him myself, honestly, but it didn't come down to that, if that makes sense. He was so little and skinny. He looked like he could have been like a crackhead or something, but I'm not sure. When I tell you, two big black grown men hopped out of that sedan at the same time, and they both looked at me like they was finna grab me, girl, when I tell you I got up out of there, So anyway, right, I had called my mom, and I told her, I'm like, yeah, this man, like, I was walking to the bus stop, and I saw this man staring at me, and he was there with some other man, and he was just staring at me. So I walked to the other bus stop because I didn't want to sit there with no weirdo, blah, blah, blah. I told her as soon as I started crossing the street, he's following me, blah, blah, blah. I get to the bus stop, he asking me questions, and he started calling me, right? So I swear to God, yo, as I'm standing there on the corner, I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm looking back to see what he's doing. Not really looking back. I'm looking this way now because at this point I'm standing this way and he's like down the street, but facing me, staring at me. But at this point he's on the phone. Like, he's on the phone, he's staring at me, talking to somebody. I can't hear. I can't hear anything that he's saying because he's like a distance away, but he's far enough, like close enough to where I could see him and see what he's doing and see that he's staring at me. So I'm on the phone with my mom. I didn't mention this to her, but I swear to God, I kid you not, I cannot make this up. I'm in my head like, yo, what if this man called him back up? Like, what if he called somebody to come get me because I didn't want to talk to him? Like, I'm just cracking ha-has in my head. Yo, when I tell y'all while I'm on the phone with my mom, I told y'all I'm standing on the corner. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's the corner right here. The bus stop's right there. You walk up the street. It's some more bus stops. And then it's the gold building. Like, I can see it from where I'm standing. When I tell y'all there was this black car, I think it was black. I know it was black. It was like this black car, and I swear to God, it's like a real small sedan. Like, it was a real small car. It came from, like, I'm standing this way. This is the corner. Pretend this is the corner. I'm facing up the street. Like, I'm facing a couple streets over to the point where I can see the gold building. Those are the bus stops over there. Right here is like a red light, another main street, and then there's some more streets that way. When I tell y'all this black car came from the street right there, right? Swerved over into the opposite lane where cars are supposed to be coming from, and then swerved over again into the right lane like they were gonna pull over right there. Turned around, busted a U-turn, and then came all the way around and freaking parked on the opposite side of the street, like as if like I'm trying to explain it. Okay, so they came from this way, right? When I tell you they came from this way, the way that they turned on the right side of the street first. Then they swerved over to the wrong side and was over there. Then they swerved back over like they were going to park on the right side of the street, and then bust a U-turn in the middle of the street and parked across the street. Car, like, I'm facing this way. The car is across the street now, and they're facing that way, if that makes sense. When I tell you two big black grown men hopped out of that sedan at the same time, and they both looked at me like they was finna grab me, girl, when I tell you I got up out of there, okay? I'm still on the phone with my mom at this point. They hop out of the car. I swear to God, it's two of them. They could be like brothers, maybe twins. When I tell you they were huge, like they were big boys, like they were big. They both hopped out of the car. One was in the driver's seat, one was in the passenger. They both hopped out and looked at me. This little Puerto Rican mother effer, he starts crossing the street to go talk to them. When I tell you all three of them was standing at the trunk having a conversation amongst each other, and then all three of them turned around and looked at me. When I tell you I was out, okay? I wasn't finna ask no questions. I wasn't finna sit there and wait to see what happened next. I wasn't finna fight three grown men on my own. I wasn't doing it. I wasn't having it. I was by myself. There was my mom could have did. It wasn't going on. At this point, they're looking at me like, dang, is she gonna fit in the trunk? Like, they're looking at me like they had plans for real. And then, like, where I'm from, I mean, people talk to everybody. There's all kinds of people that talk to people. But, bruh, outside downtown by yourself and it's late night, and you see two big black men hop out of a car after you just ignored the little skinny crackhead looking dude, and he walk over there to go talk to them, and they looking at you like they making arrangements. Oh, sis, get up out of there. Get up out of there. I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm finna walk across the street and go back towards the gold building or to the other bus stop. Dang, I be thinking I'm talking to somebody for real. When I tell y'all I started walking across that street and speed walking too. Now, okay, this is where it's gonna get confusing, okay? Y'all gonna be so confused. Okay, this is the corner, right? They're across the street. Where they're parked at across the street, excuse me, where they're parked at across the street, there's like a little, it's not a place for cars. I'm pretty sure some cars went up that way before. It's not a place for cars. It's like a place for like people to walk. It's like another little walking area that leads from one street to the other street. So if I was to go from there and walk through, I would be in front of Burger King. Burger King is next to the gold building, but across the street. In between that is like a building. It's like a building and there's some grass and there's some gates. Now I'm right here, the next street over. As I'm walking up the street, as I cross the street and I'm walking, you can like I can look over and I can see people walking through there. Okay, mind you, I crossed the street right there. I got like halfway there, and then I crossed over to where the other bus stops were. As I'm walking up, I'm looking through, and I can see that all three of them started walking. Like they were like in sync with me, like walking with me to see if I was gonna go all the way through. Right? No, I stopped walking because I seen them. Like as soon as I stopped walking, I'm still looking at them to see which way they finna go, what they finna do. I stopped walking. As soon as I stopped walking, the Puerto Rican dude, he kept going straight. The two black men, they turned around and they got back in their car. But listen to this part. When I started walking, it's like they didn't have a closeout. They didn't say bye to each other and nothing like that. The Puerto Rican dude started walking first ahead of them. They started to follow him. As soon as I stopped walking across the street because I saw them go in the same direction as me, the Puerto Rican dude kept walking. The two black men turned around and they went back and they got in their car. So at this point, I'm on the phone with my mom. I'm telling her what happened, blah, blah, blah. Now, my sister called me. I told my mom, I said, I'm finna call you back. I'm finna answer the phone. Let me see, like, what's going on. Like, maybe she calling because she wanna wear mag. I don't know. I'm just trying to see, what she called me for. So I hang up from the phone with my mom. I call my sister back. And as I'm on the phone with her, I'm telling her what happened. Like, well, I know what she called me. She called me because I had a question. I had texted her and asked her a question that night, and she called me back, and she was telling me, like, she was breaking stuff down to me. That's irrelevant, but I'm just letting you know. So I'm telling her what happened. Girl, when I tell you, these grown men that was in that little itty bitty sedan, when I tell you they rolled, at this point, I'm at the corner where the Gold Building is now. Like, I'm literally standing across the street from the Gold Building. I'm on the other corner. I'm like 2 corners away. When I tell you these grown men rolled by me and they stopped, like, it was a red light. So they stopped at the red light. But listen, when they stopped at the red light, they were both sitting in the car. Like, pretend this is them in the car. And y'all me facing them, okay? This is them in the car. Staring at me. Like, I said, yeah. Yeah, I dodged a bullet. When I tell you they both, like, they were doing everything in sync. Like, it was so weird. They got out of the car together. They were walking together. They turned around together. They're staring at me together. Girl, when I tell you that light turned green and they did not move... At this point, there's no cars, like, around. There was no cars behind them. So they're sitting there, hard down, staring at me. They looking at me like, yeah, you lucky. You a lucky girl. I do. Y'all some lucky men, okay? Listen. And then they pulled off. They finally turned around and turned their heads and they pulled off. Now, at this point, I'm looking for the other guy. I don't see him. When I last saw him, he was like going towards like Burger King. Like, he kept walking. He didn't stop walking. He kept going towards Burger King. There's Burger King and there's another side street. He kept walking up that side street. Okay. They pulled off. I'm still on the phone with my sister. We're still on the phone for like a good, I want to say like 2 to 3 minutes. I finally see this man. When I tell y'all, he came back from like Burger King's direction and he was walking and he crossed the street. He didn't see me though. I don't think he was like, he could have been, I don't think he was looking for me, because if he was looking for me, he would have looked in the last place he saw me. He didn't look at me at all. I literally caught him crossing the street from Burger King over to the Gold Building, and I watched him disappear behind the building. I said, yo, I could have been grabbed for real. Like, I would have been snatched up. I would have been snatched, and it would have been so sad. That's why I said, to this day, I'm so lucky to have the knowledge that I have and the mentality that I have and just the mindset that I have. Being a young black girl where I live at, it's like, it's so, you got to be on your P's and Q's. There's so many weirdos and stuff. And a lot of them not even crazy. A lot of them are very aware of what they're doing and they just choose to do so. It's like, You gotta be careful, for real. Especially when you by yourself and you traveling on foot through the streets. Like, it's not okay. That's basically all I had to tell y'all, though. That was my story. And it's just like, the way that they did it, they made it so obvious that they whatever intentions they had. I'm not gonna say kidnap, even though I strongly feel like it's giving very much kidnap. I feel like whatever intentions they had towards me, they were not good. They weren't good at all. He was probably getting paid to lure me somewhere or do something crazy. They was probably gonna pay him. He couldn't get the job done. They had to swoop in. Like, how? You went from one bus stop to another to try to talk to me, and they pop up out the cut, and y'all looking at me like I'm food. And then they're gonna have the nerve to stop at the red light and stare at me like it's my fault that they couldn't catch me. I said, there's something wrong with the city. For real. Can't even go to work and go home in peace. That shows you right there. You could be minding your business, simply going to work and coming home. And somewhere in between that, something can happen to you. Like, I paid very close attention to my surroundings. There are, like, there's your occasional people where you'll come across them and you'll be talking to them. In the conversations, like, there'll be normal conversations, but you still gotta watch your surroundings. You still gotta be careful what you say. You still gotta, you know what I mean, pay attention, because people are evil. Okay? Be careful, y'all. That was the moral of the story. So, that's all I have for y'all today. If y'all like this video,